Smart 24, driving business.
Good evening to you, our dear viewer. This is Business Today, where we bring you the latest business news within the region. Thank you for joining us. Now, my name is Ronah Nahabwe with Winnie and Nakawuki and the sign language. To begin with, as the economy is expected to grow over the next 10 years, the government of Uganda is striving to build a nuclear power plant by the end of 2031 for the storage of electricity. Now, according to the State Minister of Energy, Sidronius Opolot, the nuclear power plant requires minimal uranium to generate a variety of energies. Now, let's have the report.
Following the energy policy of 2002, which allows for the use of both renewable and non-renewable energy sources, the Parliament passed the Atomic Energy Law in 2008 for the safe application of the nuclear energy. Apart from South Africa, Uganda will be the second country in Africa to own a nuclear power plant, and it will cost $9 billion. Okasai Oplot, the State Minister for Energy, discloses that Uganda just struck deals with other nations in the East Africa to make money abroad by selling power.
I talked about multitude of the potentials that we have. We must invest in developing them because the market is available for electricity as a commodity. We have entered into agreements with our neighbors. We have electricity power pool for East Africa. And when I talk of East Africa, it is not just Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, DRC and the rest. The East African power pool goes all the way to the north. It goes through Sudan, South Sudan, it goes to Libya, Egypt, and even Ethiopia. So if you consider this is a huge market that we have to trade electricity. And that also comes to his question, how do I actually tap into the available opportunities? I have my uranium. Why don't I use it to generate electricity? It is sustainable. It is clean, and it qualifies as green energy. So I must use all the potentials that I have to get electricity because I'm not short of the market. I need it for internal development to drive the economy of Uganda, but I should also be using it as an opportunity to export.
Okasai says that Ugandans should not have fear about safety, adding that they have got good technology.
We are taking nuclear energy as one source of clean and renewable energy because you need only little uranium to generate quite a number of energy. I know there is worry about the safety. This worry for safety is something that can be managed. There are technologies to enable us harness our resource. One resource that we have, we are not shy to say we have uranium. And we would want to utilize uranium for our own development. How can we do that? Let's use it for generation of electricity to enable us meet our aspirations and demands for development as a country. Let's not look at what the others think. The fear that we have can be managed.
When questioned where the money for this project will come from, given that Uganda is in a financial crisis, the acting commissioner for the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Bidimumaso David, says that they have a strategy to use revenue from the extraction of oil and minerals to invest in.
Our plan is to use the income from the minerals and the exploitation of oil to invest in clean technologies. Yes, so those are our plans, and we think we are not making a mistake, because if you use your own minerals and use your own oil to create an opportunity for you to exploit the clean energy resources, eventually we will have a net zero energy supply, as in you consume and emit as much as you produce and emit. So while you're emitting, you are also absorbing. While you're producing, you are also consuming.
Bidimumaso assured the country that one nuclear power plant of 2,000 megawatts can help us to have the best electricity supply capacity for the development of the country.
Demand stands at 800 megawatts. One would say we have excess power. Now, we are the same people saying, please use electricity to cook and for vehicles. If 50% of the current vehicle-owning population switched to electric vehicles, we will immediately go into a deficit. Now, you want to build demand. Therefore, you must be ready to supply. A nuclear power plant, one nuclear power plant of 2,000 megawatts can help us to have the best electricity supply capacity for our system. So basically we are getting ready. We want to be ready for what is coming. We are building a demand, but we must also be able to supply the energy which is required. You need electric vehicles, which will always charge, mostly at night. And if you don't have enough electricity, we will go into darkness immediately, which we don't want. So the development of a nuclear power plant is also a priority, and it is timely, because we actually get the highest efficiency if we use the nuclear power plant.
Uganda is to continue with the $9 billion power plant project despite the high building expenses. Nuclear power facilities generally require numerous water resources in their operations. With the numerous low water scarcity, will Uganda be able to facilitate the nuclear operations? Samuel Kerumunda, Petron Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now that's a good innovation there. Now moving on, let's look at the inland container depot in Nairobi. The inland container depots are dry ports with the necessary tools for handling and short-term storage for containerized cargo, and the main objective of this dry port is to run by Kenya Ports Authority. This offer is effective services to traders, hence enabling international trade. 70% of the port's transit goods come from Uganda, indicating that two nations have close connections. Naomi Mitumba has details this report.
This is the Nairobi Inland Depot, where goods arrive from Mombasa. It takes 6 hours for the train to arrive, and on average, 8 trains are received, each carrying over 864 containers.
The total transit figures from the port of Mombasa, Uganda constitutes almost 70% of that traffic. So that by itself gives us an indication of how important Ugandans are. Basically our brothers, and there is a lot of trade between Kenya and Uganda, and that is a strong statement in terms of a very strong partnership between our country, Kenya and Uganda.
So the kind of transshipment we are talking about is not movement of wagons from one network to another one. It's just movement of the cargo, whether it's containerized cargo or conventional cargo. You move it using an equipment, whether it's a reach stacker or a terminal tractor. You move it from one network, which is SGR, to MGR, so that it can move to onwards hinterland areas. And for specifically, the main transshipment that happens is for the transit cargo that goes all the way to Uganda. And this happens both in here, ICD Nairobi, and Naivasha ICD. And
this is the operational control room where trucks are monitored from. For a truck to come in, it only takes 10 seconds. And for a truck to go out, it takes 2 to 3 minutes. 2,000 trucks are cleared within 24 hours.
Okay, coming in is about 10 seconds. Going out, we are averaging about 2 to 3 minutes because of the other interventions that are there. On average, we do around, we have actually done over 2,000 trucks in 24 hours, just using these two gates. So you can see how fast.
Regional, ESC, Regional Electronic Cargo Tracking System. The moment we finish facilitating from our end as URA here, it is automatically transmitted to KRA. Then they generate what we call a C2. Then they go ahead and arm the trucks with the e-seals. After arming, then they truck this cargo or the truck up to the border. When it is received by Uganda, then from there Uganda also continues to truck up to the destination.
ICDs are fully automated with a web system that enables Ugandans to know where the ship is instead of calling the port. These release 1,200 containers each day. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you, Naomi Mutumba, for that wonderful report. Now, moving on, let's look at the World Cities Day. Uganda is yet to join the rest of the world to celebrate the World Cities Day that is scheduled on the November 15th. This year's celebration will be driven towards embracing development of cities to a global perspective themed under Act Local to Global. New cities were created in the country to improve physical planning, implementation of activities, and administration at large. Let's have the story.
The involvement of Uganda in the World Cities Day celebrations has been publicly announced by the Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development in collaboration with the European Union under Greening Uganda initiative. The day intends to improve local conversation by recognizing possibilities and steps to address issues brought about by the fast global pace of urbanization. It also aims to promote and inspire action embracing sustainable urbanization. Urban population growth in Uganda is now expected to be 5.3% annually. Cities are recognized for being social and economic engines that should be purposefully used to develop the country.
Urbanization presents significant opportunities and challenges at the same time. And here in Uganda, when we talk of urbanization, we're not only meaning of cities, we're not only meaning municipalities, town councils, but we're even meaning trading centers in the rural areas, which are bringing our populations to stay together overnight. Urbanization therefore presents significant opportunities and challenges at the same time. We are aware now that more than half of the world's population lives in the cities and the towns, and the number is growing every day. Cities are renowned as the engines of socio-economic drivers that should be intentionally leveraged to transform Uganda.
The European Union, in collaboration with other stakeholders, initiated a 3-year project that began in 2020 and will go on until 2023. By concentrating on green development, this attempts to promote sustainable development and inclusive of green growth in Uganda.
The point about that is we have an ambition now to move beyond plans. We have an ambition for a capital investment program of 394 million USD. Now the point about that is we don't have that money. We have to ensure that we have bankable projects, proven bankable projects to attract capital investment. There's plenty of capital investment available, but there are so few or too few actual bankable projects on paper to be able to harness that potential investment.
Arua, Gulu, Mbale, Jinja, Masaka, Mbarara, and Fort Portal municipalities were elevated to the status of cities, while Hoima, Entebbe, Lira, Moroto, Nakasongola, Soroti, Kabale, and Wakiso municipalities will begin operations in the upcoming years. The phrase secondary cities is used to designate the new cities as being on par with Kampala, the country's capital, in terms of population size, administrative territory, and political, economic, or historic significance. Design Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Let's now move on to the spotlight on the Karamoja region. Now, one of Uganda's least traveled or explored locations in Karamoja is the Karamoja region. In order to entice investors to this area, the Ugandan government has made significant efforts to construct infrastructure like roads, schools, and other electricity programs. As a result, Karamoja leaders are urging additional investment in this region as a method to address both the residents and the ongoing issues to boost the national income. Let's have the report.
There are 9 districts in the Karamoja sub-region, which is located in northern Uganda, and these include Kabong, Kotido, Abim, Moroto, Napak, Amdat, Nabilatu, Karenga, and Nakapiripirit districts. With high rates of malnutrition and a disproportionately high 61% of its 1.6 million inhabitants living in extreme poverty, Karamoja is regarded as one of the world's poorest regions. 4 significant developing economies have been identified by the leaders as being present in Karamoja: agriculture, mineral development, tourism, and construction. Resources, especially food, are under pressure, and this leads to insecurity because people must raid each other's animals to survive. Over 900 individuals have died as a result of this food shortage. The largest issue in Karamoja is hunger, which calls for long-term investment solutions.
Karamoja has 27,000 square kilometers of land. This is an opportunity for all of us, especially us who are interested in agriculture. This land is not yet utilized to the fullest, and Karamoja as a region has only 1.4 million people. 1.4 million people occupying 10% of Uganda's land.
In Karamoja, you'll find Bagishu, you'll find Basoga, you'll find Iteso, you'll find Lango, you'll find Acholi, you'll find Bagandas doing business. Please come. But we are saying investments, yes, but benefits shared. Please don't come with a greedy and want to survive alone. You may not enjoy it.
The potential for profitable minerals like gold, copper, iron ore, rare earth elements, diamonds, and marble in Karamoja is also very high. The locals, however, believe that they do not profit from these minerals that are supplied to other regions of the nation. For instance, marble is taken to Tororo Cement, and marble is also transferred to Jinja to produce tiles. If Karamoja could only build similar manufacturing enterprises, many young people would be qualified to work there, benefiting their livelihoods and the region's development.
Karamoja has a wealth of minerals. Over 57 minerals are in Karamoja, not yet fully.
Mineral economy. Huge potential to invest in. You can't exhaust it. Employment through skilling, the way Good Leisure Farm is giving us skills, so that Karamoja can also join the business, the trade. So we are saying, help us to move from development aid to trade. Let's move really to business and commerce, because aid has not made us better.
According to David Pulkol, using the many minerals that Karamoja is endowed with will help encourage import substitution, boost manufacturing in the nation, and also foster codependence of the various sectors of the economy.
We are not putting enough resources, enough investment in Karamoja. Look at the oil, which is oozing out now between Kadam and Moroto Mountain. Kadam is Nakapriprit and Moroto, in the wild bushes there, opposite the oil thing in Turkana. That oil is ready to come out. It's not like the one of Albertine where it's waxy. You have to heat it to flow through the pipe. The one of Karamoja is ready, it is ready to flow. So why not actually come? So we thank God because now the president is now tarmacking the road going to that area, going to the border of Turkana. Okay, the Chinese are working on the border now. And the government has brought hydropower station for 132 kVA for industrial power. There's power which they're taking power to the sub-counties now. So since Adam left it, why does it take Uganda 60 years to make these investments? But because they thought we are useless, we are nothing, we were kept as a human zoo. So we are saying, let's change. Whether it is gold, you know how many metric tons of gold. You know 300 million metric tons of limestone. You have been building Uganda with this Hima cement with only how many reserves? With Tororo cement. Now Tororo has been getting for the last 15 years, 17 years, has been getting limestone from Karamoja. Now even the mineral called clinker, which Uganda is importing from South Africa for our cement industry, it is already in Karamoja. So, because no cement factory has got that mineral except Karamoja, clinker, you would stop importing. So that's why I'm saying that whether platinum, whether ruby, whether blue sapphires, whether it is uranium in Loleke, or rare earth minerals in Loyoro, in different parts, in Napak, rare earth minerals for making mobile phones, cobalt, copper, it's there. For making airplanes, those rare earth minerals, they're in Karamoja.
Karamoja also has a distinctive culture that, if given the encouragement and resources it needs to flourish, will draw numerous visits from all over the world.
Karamoja is the host of Chidepo National Park, but again the terrain, Mount Moroto, Mount Kadama, all the beautiful scenery that is in Karamoja is conducive for tourism. And Karamoja being a border region to Kenya, to South Sudan, gives us an opportunity to penetrate all those areas for trade.
Construction. African Hotel has just constructed and they're doing a good thing. Many hotels are coming up. So there will be a lot of, as people invest in Karamoja, there will be a lot of potential in construction industry. And construction materials is there. Why not actually cut those marbles from Karamoja? Why not put an airplane, a big airport in Moroto, and you can even export these things direct without bringing to Entebbe. So this is the point we are making.
Erigority Nachiganda, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today will now take a short break. Please don't touch that dial.
Smart 24, driving business.